Hey guys, so we've gotten a lot of new generals over the last week or so, but for this video, we're just going to take a look at Artemis and Hermes, and I'll probably make another video with the other generals, but for now, just going to take a look at these two. Now, these are both mounted generals. They look like they're made to work together, and they are compatible. Both of them do have the leading clause, which is very nice for them. The base skill on both of them is pretty good in their own way. Artemis has good skills, but no march size. And Hermes has good HP and attack, no defense, and has 12% march size. Now, Hermes is compatible with the march size book, so that is another plus in his favor. And once we get them fully ascended, Hermes doesn't really have anything super special. No extra march size, little bit of HP, add some defense, and a little bit of attack. Artemis gets a good bit of attack. HP and defense is very high, but still no march size. Specialties on them. Artemis specialties aren't super interesting. They're high stats, but no march size. Hermes has a lot of march size on specialty and pretty decent stats. Covenant and skins on these. Now the skin for whichever one has a skin, I don't remember. I think it's Artemis that has the skin. It's just debuffs, so it's really just the covenant in here. But they both have extremely strong covenants. Artemis gets 5% march size, and that's the only march size they get from their kit. And pretty decent stats, but 25% attack, which is very high for a covenant. Hermes gets very balanced across the board, 10% on each, including 10% march size. The attributes for them are actually a little bit low for what we've seen with newer generals, but that doesn't really matter too much. When we look at the totals, if we sort by attack, Artemis is the highest attack general in the game, followed closely by Marco Polo. Defensively, Artemis is the highest, followed by Hakon Haraldson. And then their HP is also the highest, right, with Linamosa right there. So Artemis has very strong base stats, but almost no march size. And that's kind of where the design for Hermes is supposed to be, is that Hermes has a lot of march size. And you'll notice none of this march size comes from extra ascension. So all that's going to be available as an assistant. But the regular stats are decent for Hermes. If we sort by the increased attack, this one's for a T15K40. Marco Polo is still the highest damage general. Hermes, which is one that's designed to be an assistant, comes in third just because of that massive march size. And then Artemis doesn't really have that much, isn't that super huge with attack. Despite having a lot of base attack, the lack of march size really holds them back. They're a good 20 billion behind the top, which is Marco Polo. But obviously, Hermes was designed to complement Artemis. Artemis is made to be the high stats, including the highest defense and HP, so a very survivable general. Now, when we look at the assistant side of things, this is already sorted by damage, and this is for T15K for you once again. No surprise, Hermes is now the best mounted assistant by a long shot. And that just mainly comes from the march size. They have 9% more march size than Qing Yaojin, which was the previous best. And that's a pretty big chunk. Artemis as an assistant, not great in damage, but not terrible. It's alright. Defensively, Artemis is a decent defensive assistant. And then on the HP, they also have good HP. So if you're a tanky general already and you want an assistant, they would work for that. Hermes has okay defense and HP, nothing too great. The attack value for them is decent. Nothing crazy. Artemis still has good attack as an assistant. So their stats are very good. But what we're really interested in is how do they stack up when put together compared to other general combinations. Now, I looked at, just real quick, what a march with Marco Polo and Cheng Yaojing would look like, as that's currently one of the higher damage ones. One with Artemis and Hermes, and then what would happen if you put Marco Polo and Hermes together. And this is what it would look like. Artemis and Hermes would have 191 billion. Polo and Cheng have 200 billion. And then Polo and Hermes have 210 billion, which is very strong. So, really, the only reason you would want to go for Artemis over one of the other generals that are higher damage, like Washington Prime, Marco Polo, Cheng, is if you really want that extra survivability. But the damage just really doesn't stack out, even once you throw on Hermes with that insane march size. It just doesn't offset the lack that they have to that degree. So for Hermes in the assistant role, there's a couple generals that are not compatible. Hakon Haraldson is not compatible. Washington Prime, Andre is not compatible. And then there's no info on Cheng Yaojing, Custer, or Hannibal. So that's a little bit unfortunate they're not compatible with Washington Prime, because I know a lot of people have Washington Prime and would like a very good assistant for them, but it is what it is. Alright, that's all I got for this video. Hope y'all found it informative, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.